You're listening to MinerTalk on demand exclusively on 600 ESPN El Paso. Stay up to date with MinerTalk by downloading the free 600 ESPN El Paso mobile app.
UTEP fans, it's time for MinerTalk with Adrian Broadus and Sal Montes. MinerTalk is presented by the Oscar Arieta Agency. 7 locations across El Paso from the west side to Fabens. Wind Supply El Paso. Locate your nearest champion dealer at windsupplyelpaso.com. And Keat Southwest, leading the industry in precision metal stamping since 1958. Call into the show at 880-5763 or tweet the show at 600 ESPN El Paso on Twitter. Now, let's go live to the Lube and Go studios with your hosts, Adrian Broadus and Sal Montes.
All right, let's do it. It's MinerTalk. We're presented by the Oscar Arieta Agency. Got the hiccups right before we got on air. This is ridiculous. UTEP, they lost tonight. It was a heartbreaking loss. UAB defeated UTEP 69-66. Sal Montes, Jason Williams in studio today. Sal, it was a tough one for the Miners, and they need one of these home games. They need to win at home in front of their crowd. 6,100 fans. It was an excellent crowd tonight, and Sal, they just couldn't get it done.
Yeah, it was tough, and I think the most frustrating part is that this team is capable of it, and they've done it on the road against Louisiana Tech, and they've also fought back against the Old Dominion team where it's very hard to win over there. And really what the fans want next is to see that, in person, in front of their face. And they still have a couple chances. Rice is a good team, but of course, the eyes are on the prize for the final game of the regular season against North Texas. I think that's the one that people are really looking forward to. So they'll have another crack. But the fact of the matter is they can compete. They just got to bring it home.
No doubt about it. They have proved time and time again that they can compete with the best of the best in this conference. This is going to be a rough start. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry, everybody out there. Jason Williams, you haven't been here in a while. Glad that you're back in the Lube and Go studios. This was an interesting one, Jason, because the Miners are going up against one of the best teams in all of Conference USA. I know, Sal. This is ridiculous. 880-5763 is our telephone number. Jason, the Miners just couldn't get it done. They had a chance. This game was in the balance, 50-50 game, and just could not get it done when it was all said and done.
Yeah, I think, the game, it was a great game. They was going back and forth, and Miners, they turned it up the last 6 minutes defensively. And then we just couldn't close the game out at the end, couple missed shots. I think we could have had some better offensive shots at the end or better plays. But, it happens, and we gave them a foul, and, he hit the free throw. So that's game right there.
It's tough because the Miners had an opportunity with having a chance to actually, go ahead. They were down one. It was, I believe it was 67-66, and Keontae Kennedy attempted a three-pointer at the top of the key, and he had a great game. 10 points off the bench. He hadn't played since late December, and Keontae Kennedy just comes right back. He's guarding the best player on both sides in Jordan Walker. And man, Jordan Walker, first team all-conference. You don't have to ask me twice about him. 7 assists in this game. He had 3 rebounds. He also totaled 22 points. I just really, really liked what I saw from, the likes of Jordan Walker from UAB, a tremendous guard. And the bottom line for this game is this one came down to the very end. Keontae could not make that 3-point shot that came his way. Joe Golding dialed up that play to Alfred Hollins, and his three-pointer just did not fall to tie the game up at 69. And it was just really tough to just see. Sal Montes over here helping me out with the hiccups. Man, this guy's a real MVP. I think he's just telling me to chug some ice water or something like that. So I appreciate Sal helping me out over here. UAB, I digress. UAB just is such a good team. They're one of the best teams in Conference USA. There's a reason why they're the second best team in this league, Sal. And I look at this group as a team that could actually go to the NCAA tournament when it's all said and done.
Yeah, this is one of the teams that gets hot at the right time, year in and year out. We talk about UAB this year, but throughout the years, they've been some of the best that Conference USA has to offer, dating all the way back to Robert Vaden. I know guys remember that name. So this team, they similar to UTEP, in the way that I just want to give a perspective. Similar to how UTEP loves Don Haskins, and it's the Don Haskins Center. We can't forget about Gene Bartow and Bartow Arena. That's the culture that they have over there. So this is what they expect. And, I mean, if people are expecting UAB to kind of, take a step back, they're in for a rude awakening. They want to make noise.
I get it. The rebounding margin was not good tonight. UAB tonight with 42, the Miners with just 25. That's something, Jason, that UTEP has to get better at when it comes to the rest of the season. I mean, I know we're here at the final stretch, but that was one of the big keys in this one, in this loss. They just could not win the rebounding margin, and they allowed too many second chance points.
Yes, I totally agree. I think all season we kind of had that problem with offensive rebounding. And as you see, if you look at the stats tonight, it really killed the team. We created 17 turnovers, but they got 14 offensive rebounds. So that means just 3 turnovers now. And it's just tough. It's just tough when you can create 17 turnovers, but you give up 14 rebounds. And they still take 2 more shots with 17 turnovers, I'm sorry. So we definitely have to rebound going forward. And I think if we could fix that problem, I think we could have had a better game tonight. We would have won.
Yeah,
the boxing out, we'd have won.
The forced turnovers were great by the Miners. Sal, the defense for UTEP was strong tonight.
No, it definitely was, and as Jason was mentioning earlier, defending it's more than just playing good defense and having the opponent miss a shot. If they get the ball back, I don't want to say it's wasted effort, but what was that really for? If they get the ball back and then they put it back in the hoop, and a fraction of the time that it took for them to even get the original shot up. So throughout the season, they've had some trouble really closing those defensive series out and getting back on the offense. We've seen teams pretty much dribble the clock down or dribble the ball and bleed that clock out, and then next thing you know, it's reset because it hits the rim and they get the ball back. So that's something they definitely got to continue to work on.
880-5763, our telephone numbers. We get started here on the show. 600 ESPN El Paso on Twitter. UAB defeats UTEP 69-66. If you'd like to talk about it, now's the time to do it. Let's also talk a little bit about Souley Boum. 26 points, 8 of 12 shooting. He had 2 assists, 2 turnovers, 33 minutes. Jason, how would you assess Souley Boum's performance after this one? I thought he had a pretty sharp game. I thought he was keeping the Miners in this one. Out of the second half, I did not like how UTEP played one bit, and I felt like Souley Boum's playmaking kept UTEP in this game.
Yeah, I definitely think tonight he played really great. He made his shots. He kept the team alive in the game. He's a really good player. He can score with the best of them, and I think that's a great thing for the team. So he's one of the guys. He's going to always keep the team in there because he don't have no conscience. He's going to keep shooting. And tonight, if he play like that, maybe he should get some more shots, right?
Oh, yeah, you're right. I mean, he's a high-volume...
10 threes, right?
Right, yeah, he's a high-volume scorer, and he only had 12 attempts in this one.
Yes. It's one of them nights where you be like, when a guy like that gets hot, maybe he could have had a couple more shots.
No, I'm with you. I'm with you completely on that one, man. 880-5763, our telephone number. UAB beats UTEP 69-66. And I just go back to something Joe Golding said. They need one of these big home wins. The crowd was great tonight, Jason, and it's just tough that UTEP could not pull this one off. I know UTEP fans are generally positive about them competing in this game, but at the same time, you just want to get one of these big wins. That'll take you to that next level. That's what kind of shows you that you're up for that challenge, and you could play with the best of the best in this league.
Yeah, I agree, and I think tonight with the win, it would have really gave the team even more confidence going into the next game, and even maybe finishing the season off the right way with tonight's win. But
sure,
hey, they still can bounce back. The good thing about basketball, March is a new season.
Yeah.
So,
I'm with you on that.
These next 2 games, I just try to fix all the bad habits and get ready for March and win out.
I'm with you on that one, man. 880-5763. Let's go to Rob, who's joining us on the phone lines. What's up, Rob? How's it going, man?
Good. I was there tonight. It was a very good game.
Great crowd, right?
Crowd. Definitely a great crowd. It was exciting, but I was just proud of the guys. They played really well. I just think the only difference between UTEP and UAB is they knew when it was crunch time they were going to knock down shots, and we really couldn't. I just feel like they did it and we couldn't, and we didn't have an answer for that guy that was like that guard. I don't know.
Jordan Walker.
Jordan Walker.
Yep.
Yeah.
Walker. Is that the guy that was like 5'5"?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, they couldn't stay in front of that guy, and he just created a lot of problems for us. But the hustle for the Miners was so amazing, and like my favorite part of the whole game is I was sitting opposite of the UTEP bench, and man, I haven't seen a player play as hard as Solly did tonight in a really long time.
As who?
Solly Boom.
Got you.
Yeah, man, that guy was diving on loose balls. He was knocking down shots. He was, you would see him. He was trying to attack the passing lanes. Like he was playing so hard on both ends, and I don't know. Like I just really enjoyed watching him play tonight. He was awesome, and I just hope they tighten some things up. And you know what? I saw that game. I saw that game a couple weeks ago when we went to North Texas, and they don't scare me any more than UAB. I feel like if UTEP plays like they did tonight, they could probably beat them, and that just gives me confidence in the tournament. Because like big picture, like I'm thinking of the big picture, and if Joe Golding wins one conference game with UTEP, he already did better than Terry did the last 3 years. If you really think about it, all it takes is you gotta win one. Because the last guy didn't win any. Just win one game.
Very true.
Play as hard as you can, and you're already better than the last guy with the same roster. Well, like almost 80% of the same roster. But yeah, you know.
Shout out your passenger for correcting you there.
My dad Jerry. He's a common caller.
Oh, hey, shout out Jerry. Hey, shout out Jerry on a mobile. We get Rob and Jerry on a mobile.
Oh, no way. That's cool.
Doing, Adrian.
It's awesome. You guys are great. I love this tag team duo of Jerry on a mobile and Rob calling from on the way home. You guys are the best. I appreciate the phone call. You guys take care. Have a great night. Let's go to Ronnie real quick, then we'll get to Joe Rod. 880-5763, our telephone number as we get going. I apologize to everybody. I've got some hiccups. I had it earlier today. And UAB again defeated UTEP 69-66. We got Jason Williams. We got Sal Montes in the studios today. We're talking UTEP hoops. Ronnie, what's going on, my man? How are you?
Yeah, I'm okay. How about you?
I'm trying to hang in here. Not trying to talk as much as all these other guys here.
I understand that. Man, this has been a successful year for the Miners. Even if they don't win a single game for the rest of the season, it's been a very successful year for them. There's a lot of positives to build off of. There's a lot of good things we saw. But still kind of brings me back to when I was calling in November, man. Like, I just don't like, and I get why it's happened because the Rice game thing, but I just don't like when the enemy takes 15 shots as a point guard when he's only hit 4. I just feel like as a point guard, you have a feel for the game, and you kind of know when it's not your night, and maybe you see this is probably the best game I've ever seen Boom play. I mean, he was efficient. He didn't force anything. Like, he looked really good, right? So you could give him some more love. You could give Holland some love. You could do some other things. I just feel like when he's really in that press mode, it takes away from his point guard duties or responsibilities. And Golding being a defensive coach first, he's never gonna, tell a guy don't do this or don't do it often. That's just not what he thinks about first and foremost. The guy's defending, that's what he cares. But Bieniemy's played Oklahoma. He's played for Lon Kruger. He's started every game since he's going to Miners. He has to know it. At this point in his career, what is he, 21, 22? He knows, right?
Yeah, he knows.
He knows. Okay, hey, look, man, I'm not getting quality looks, or it's just not my night. Let me, get up off it a little bit more. Let me try to focus on Jordan Walker and some different things. It almost felt like he was trying to go shot for shot with Jordan Walker. It's like, man, I watched Jordan Walker since his days when he was in Jersey coming out of school from St. Patrick's School. That's what he does. That's what he is.
Yeah, it's a first-team all-conference player right there.
Yeah, don't try to play his game. Just be who you are. You know what I mean? And I just felt like if the Miners could find that right balance of defense to offense and remember that it all starts and ends with defense first, that they'd be okay. But, I still don't trust that on teams that are above 500, that the Miners will find a way to get the win. What is it now, Sal? They've got, 2 wins against teams that are above 500?
I think
it's not more than 3.
It's probably
number.
about 3. I'll have to take a look because they did get
pretty low
La Tech.
number.
They got a FAU, and they also got a Rice. So,
Okay,
but that's about it, though.
Yeah, pretty low number for, you look at their 16 wins. I still don't trust them in games at teams that have played well, but it's not that I don't trust them because I don't trust Goldie. I just think that, kids got to keep growing, man. And sometimes you don't need your coach
they're just
to tell
not
you.
there yet.
Yeah, sometimes you need your coach to tell you every little thing. Right? You don't need your mom and dad to tell you every little thing with the house. You just got to make the right decisions when you're out of their sight. And that's the same thing with this UTEP team. I would compare this UTEP team to that 19-year-old that goes on to college for the first time and has to decide, can he stay up late playing beer pong or should he go to sleep and study and go to class at 8 a.m. the next morning? That's what I compare the UTEP team to.
That's great. Hey, Ronnie, great stuff, man. Really appreciate the phone call. Check out Chalk and Churn on Twitter. Ronnie, we really appreciate it. Does UTEP go 1-1 next week, or what do they go next week? What do you think?
They'll beat Rice. I don't think they'll beat North Texas. I just think that McCall's is the standard in this league, and I think everybody's chasing him. And I just don't like that matchup for them. I just do not like that matchup for them. I got them going 1-1, and they should have a favorable draw in the tournament, so they can win probably that first round matchup that they're playing. But like I said, either way, man, it's been a successful season for the Miners, and I think we all agree on that.
I think we do too, Ronnie. I appreciate the phone call, man. Jason, really quick before we get to Joe Rod, I want to get your take on Jamal Bieniemy. What did you think of him tonight? Because you had some interesting thoughts on UTEP's point guard. Jason, what did you think of Jamal Bieniemy?
Like he just said, I just think as a point guard, he took 15 shots tonight, and he has to know when he's off to maybe get more shots because he was the guy who had the hot hand tonight. Sometimes as a point guard, you have to know who has the hot hand and who don't. Even though he's a scoring point guard, we still want him to be aggressive, but at the same time, like he said, he's been here a while and he's been a point guard a while, so eventually he has to start transitioning to actually controlling the team towards the end of the game. And I think that's what's going to be key for the Miners is controlling the game and who has the ball in their hand. Like Jordan had at the end of the game, it's nobody else with the ball. It's either he's going to make the shot or he's going to create the shot for somebody else. And for the Miners, we just don't have nobody right now creating for other people. But we have great offensive players.
It's tough that Sule Boom didn't get a final shot attempt, right, Sal?
Yeah, definitely, because this is a guy who hit a big three, down the stretch. Also, shout out to Keontae Kennedy catching fire, late in the game. But Sule Boom is the guy. I think we can agree that he is the best offensive player, and he's really showcased it, these last 5 or 6 games or so, because we know he's been a volume shooter, a guy who's going to put up a large number of shots. But throughout the stretch of these last, 4 or 5 games or so, maybe 6, I don't know, but he's been on fire throughout this stretch, and it's been really efficient. If he's not 500, he's right below. But this guy, a couple months ago, we're talking about a 3 for 15, 4 for 18 game. This guy's 8 for 12 tonight and 4 for 5 from beyond the arc. And really, one of his best points is the free throw line, 60% tonight at 6 for 10. So kind of lacked a little bit there. But what I like about Sule so far, though, Adrian, is that we know his offensive game, but on defense, he's all over the place. He's putting his hands in guys' face. He's closing in correctly, disrupting passing lanes as the guys mentioned earlier. So I think he's really, really taking on this captain role for the Miners.
Yeah, he really is. This is his team. Let's go back to the phones right now. Let's go to Joe Rod. He's going to break down the post-game interview. Joe, what's going on, man? What did everybody say today after the game?
Well, to begin with, Agent, thanks for having me on. Today for starters, Coach Golding, the first thing he acknowledged, obviously after acknowledging the effort from the UAB Blazers, is one of the first things that jumped out to my attention is he was the first one to acknowledge that down the stretch the team just failed to execute, and that it was on him, that the communication wasn't there, and it's just something that they have to improve on. And he was completely accountable for those final 3 possessions of the game that, of course, everybody's talking about, or I'm sure everybody's gonna want to talk about. But he went on to say that as far as there was a lot of positives tonight, and he also acknowledged that UTEP needs to win a big game at home. It's something that they haven't done this season, and he's completely wrong on that. Some of the biggest, most memorable victories this year, ironically enough, have been on the road. So obviously the opportunity is going to present itself here, especially in the last game of the regular season at home against North Texas. As far as what Golding said, I asked him about the statistic that jumped out at us, Adrian, in the first half, where the Blazers turned the ball over 9 times in under 2 minutes, and only got 6 points off of those turnovers.
Yeah.
But he was quick to acknowledge, Adrian, that the turnovers didn't come on runouts. They were on traveling calls or on out of bounds, so they couldn't get into the transition quick enough to try and benefit to the fullest extent of that. But he also said, those are stolen possessions for them, and we have to do better with regards to that. And finally, with what Joe Golding said, that'll segue into what Sule Boom said when he spoke with us after the game. Joe Golding said that after the game tonight, it was a hurt locker room, that it was, the most hurt that he's seen his team after a defeat all season long. And I think that says a lot because of the fact that, this was a game against a very, very tough UAB team that just kind of got away from it. There's a lot of factors that panned out over the 40 minutes, Adrian, where you could have gotten 4 points that would have made the difference in this game. With regards to Sule Boom, he came in, he was rather dejected. He was the first one to acknowledge, he goes, everyone is going to talk about those final 3 possessions of the game. But he goes, the key tonight was in the rebounding, the boxing out, the game within the game. We didn't execute on that end, and he felt that was the difference in tonight's game. But then again, he quickly acknowledged the fact that he was off from the free throw line, and that also could have marked the difference in tonight's game. One thing I asked Adrian, both Joe Golding and Sule Boom, one thing that I mentioned to you over the course of the game is the fact that the Miners, when things were going good tonight, when they got back into the fight, when they went on runs, when they took the lead, they showed swagger on the floor. They showed emotion, and both Sule Boom and Joe Golding said that was because they both feel that this team's starting to believe, that they're starting to have confidence, and that they're growing, which is exactly what you want to see from this kind of a team at this point in the season.
Okay. Hey, Joe, real quick, I want to ask you about this because did you think that they had more of a somber tone tonight, or was it more aggressive toward next week? What would you say as far as tone goes?
As far as, after the game, no. They were, Coach Golding, it's hard to get a measure on him. He's always so positive and so energetic, and that's never gone away. In the time that he's been here, especially after pregame or postgame, in postgame conferences, whether they win or lose. But today, Boom was rather upset. None of us talked to them or asked them about what's coming up here next Thursday. We didn't really acknowledge that tonight.
Okay, I got you, man. Let's keep things going, Joe. I appreciate the phone call, man. Thanks so much for weighing in on the show, and really appreciate all the stuff that you do for us here on 600 ESPN El Paso, 880-5763. Let's keep things moving. Let's go to Jamal Bieniemy's pops. He's joining us on the phone lines right now, 880-5763. UAB defeated UTEP 69-66. If you'd like to talk about it with us, you could tweet the show 600 ESPN El Paso, or you could chime in with us over the phones. Mr. Bieniemy, good evening. How's it going?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
Doing fine. What'd you think of this game?
What I thought was UAB is a superior team. They're deeper. They're more experienced players. The fact that they were within striking distance of winning this game is enough. It's enough said about the coaching staff and the players who fought. I just noticed how all of these people, if those same shots that Jamal took tonight, had they gone in, they'd be calling and praising him.
Sure, I agree with that. I agree.
Okay, he doesn't get into contests to try to outshoot somebody. So I don't know where Ronnie got that from. He didn't try to go shot for shot with him. Those same shots today, earlier, and shoot around in practice, swishing them. Last night in the gym, swishing them. It happens. He's going to miss sometimes. I don't know when.
And he's been great all year. Let's be fair, Mr. Bieniemy. He's been great all year.
Just a couple of people who call into the show who only call in when they lose, like Ronnie. I didn't hear from Ronnie again after the race. We didn't hear from him. Not a word.
Sure. I'm with you.
Every game, he plays 35 minutes a game, and just about every game he plays, he is asked to guard the other team's best wing player. After this many games, it wears on you. He was a little tired. What do shooters do? You shoot. If you're open, you take the shot. Tonight they didn't go in. They were 3 points away from the second-best team in the conference. They had a chance. That's all you can ask for.
Yeah, I mean, this UAB team is fantastic. I mean, this team could go to the NCAA tournament.
I think they can win a couple of tournament games if their bigs play well enough and they make just enough shots from outside, because they have Power 5 bigs. They're a really good team. The fact that they were that close to them, it's hats off to the Miners.
I'm with you on that. I'm with you.
So the good thing and the beauty of Jamal, he doesn't care what anybody outside of that locker room thinks about him. Not a care in the world. He cares what the coach, the players he play around, and they know better than to think that he would be out there going shot for shot with somebody, because he just doesn't do that. You don't lead the team in assists if all you're worrying about is shooting the ball or trying to go shot for shot with somebody. It's not his game. So Ronnie's on a different one. So if Ronnie want to call me, I could leave my number so he can call me and we can talk about it. But anyway, everybody have a good night, and thank you for your time.
You have a great night, Mr. Bieniemy. Really appreciate the phone call. Hey, I'm going to put you on hold real quick. Sal will take your phone number, so in case Ronnie gives you a call, this will be it. But I really appreciate your phone call, Mr. Bieniemy. I think you bring great perspective right there. Let's keep it moving. OT's joining us next. You're right. That's right. Your teammate, OT, Jason Williams, who's in the studios with us. Sal Montes and Adrian Broadus. MinerTalk continuing, 600 ESPN El Paso. I'm going to knock on wood right now because I think I got rid of the hiccups. I don't know. I think it was all the ice water that Sal Montes brought over to me. OT, what's going on, my man? How are you?
I'm good. I'm about to go check out my Philly guy, Kevin Hart, get some laughs in with the
There
wife.
you go. There you go. Are you on your way right now?
Yes, I'm stuck in traffic.
Oh, so no phones, huh? So I hear you can't pull out your phone in that show.
Nope, not at all.
Good stuff. OT, what'd you think about this one? What do you think about this team?
I didn't go to the game tonight. I was following the game, me and my wife. UTEP's there. They're 1 or 2 players away. I think they need more productivity from the bigs. I mean, they got guard work. They just need some bigs. And I think Coach Golden has done a great job with the team he's got. I mean, he got a leftover team from Coach Terry's team. He didn't bring all his recruits in. I think within 2 years, I think we should be in the tournament again. He's a defensive coach. I think he's just a big or two away from actually being a top-tier team again.
Would you agree with your teammate, Jason?
Yes, I definitely agree. You know, with the players they have and everything they've been through this year, that gave everybody confidence to go forward for this year. And, you know, they just building the chemistry with a new coach. And so I'm definitely looking forward to next year.
Let me ask both of you guys this real quick. Have you guys experienced, either of you, somebody who misses 15 games, like misses the entire conference schedule, and then comes back like Keontae Kennedy did today and guards the other team's best player? Like, I don't think I've ever seen that. I don't know if I'm ever going to see that. Keontae Kennedy, man, that guy is I really like him, man. 10 points today. Have you guys seen anything like this?
I've never seen it, but if there was one guy when I was playing, it probably would have been Jay Will. Because, you know, he took the challenge every night to guard the best defender, guard, point guard, 2 guard, 3, 4 man. So I haven't seen it, but if there was a guy, it would have been Jay Will.
Yeah, and I basically think, you know, defense is something you can't really teach. You just have to want to stop your man. And it's
You've always said that. You've always said that.
Yeah, I mean, you can't really teach it, you know. You know, tonight he tried to step up and stop their best guy, and that's something he wanted to do. And, you know, and some guys just want that challenge, and they just have it in them to go for that challenge. You know, my mindset always was, if this guy score on me, he's going to show this video to these NBA scouts, and it's me.
Wow, that's some
my
good
job,
mentality. I like it.
If I'm overseas, You know, we signed 1-year contracts. If this guy goes show this video to another team and he's killing me, guess who's not going to get the job? Me.
That's right.
So you have to want to stop your man in front of you because it's important. You can't always expect help from your teammates.
That's good stuff. That's good stuff. I like it. Sal, what do you think? What did you think about Keontae Kennedy in this one? OT, hang on with us. I want to ask you one more thing. Sal, Keontae Kennedy, did you see this coming?
You know what? I would say no, but it's not because I didn't think he was capable of it. I just didn't think he was going to play this much tonight, especially his first game back against one of the top-tier teams in Conference USA. That's a lot to expect from somebody who hasn't played since 2021. So
sure.
I think he's definitely capable of it. I mean, hell, he showed it tonight. But for him to put up 10 points and, be efficient, just under 500 at 3 for 7, but get it done from the free throw line, where let's be real here, too. The Miners have struggled to get to the free throw line pretty much all season, and out the gate, they were kind of making a statement, being physical and getting to the line. I think they got away from that in the second half. That's a whole other story, though. Back to Keontae Kennedy, I like the aggression that he showed on defense, because we talked about this, too. Not only is, in my opinion, he the team's best rebounder, although he only had 3 today. One of the best things that Keontae brings is that defense, and went to the thing he knew best, and that was the defense. So for him to go right to it against a team that is like-minded, who wants to play defense all game long, I think he was fitting right in today.
OT, I want to ask you one more question. What do you think of Souley Boum? Because he is UTEP's leading scorer. He has a chance to be the first UTEP leading scorer in Conference USA since Stephon Jackson did it back, I think, way back in 2008. What do you think of Souley Boum, UTEP's guard?
Oh, I like him. He's a walking bucket, but I think he needs to use the bigs more so. Like if he get the bigs more involved, that'll free him up more, and he don't have to force so many shots and take all the responsibility on his own. So I think he needs to start talking with the bigs, trying to get them more involved and make the game come easier for him.
That's awesome. Good stuff, OT. Hey, appreciate your phone call, man. Appreciate you weighing in on the show.
Thank you, man. Thank you guys for having me. Jay Will, have a good night, guys.
Yes, sir. Have a good night,
have a good night watching Kevin Hart.
Hey, have a good one watching Kevin Hart. I love that, man. Don't pull out your phone. They might boot you out, OT. That's Omar Thomas, former Miner, joining us here on the phone lines, 880-5763. That's our telephone number if you'd like to weigh in. We've got 2 lines available. Let's go to Abel. He's been patiently waiting with us on the phones. Then we got to go to Twitter, 880-5763. I still can't believe Mr. Bieniemy called in. That's awesome, man. He's a great guy. Jamal is a fantastic player. I know he had 9 tonight, but hey, he also totaled 4 assists. So JB, he helps out in other ways. I get it that some people may say that he shouldn't have had 15 attempts tonight, but he's still going to shoot those. And I personally, this is just me personally, but I think he's going to shoot those night in, night out, because Jamal Bieniemy has so much confidence in his own game, and he doesn't waver from that confidence, like you heard from Mr. Bieniemy, who just called in right now. What did you think of it, Sal?
You know what? I like the confidence that he displays, and we got to be real here too. Throughout the season, various guys have been called on to really put the team on their backs for one reason or another. I mean, early on in the season when Souley Boum wasn't playing for a portion, it was Jamal Bieniemy, and then the Miners take a trip out to Albuquerque. Who's the man that they call on? It's Keontae Kennedy. Then Keontae Kennedy is out, and JB's playing his game as well, but Souley Boum is called on. So I think these 3 guys have what it takes to really be the team captains. I mean, heck, they are the team captains in my opinion.
I agree.
But it's just going to take some getting used to now with Keontae Kennedy coming back. But to be fair, we haven't really seen all 3 play for a large portion of this season.
Good point.
And if they start gelling, in these final couple of games and get going in Conference USA tournament time, it could be scary, because not only have UTEP fans not really seen what this trio was like, Conference USA hasn't seen what it's like.
They haven't seen it at all. This is the first time. Yeah, they've only played 7 times together all year. Keontae Kennedy, Jamal Bieniemy, and Souley Boum. That's a crazy stat right there, but they've only played 7 games all year together in games. Let's go to Abel, who's joining us on the phone lines. We'll get to our Hot Hand Award, brought to you by Wind Supply El Paso, and our Player of the Game, thanks to Keith Southwest later on. Abel, thanks for patiently waiting. What do you think of this one?
Is it my turn?
It's finally your turn, Abel. Finally your turn.
Hey, first of all, I just want to remind everybody that at this time last year, it was over. As far as the way they were playing and crashing and burning right before the tournament, and having a little bit of success, but pretty much, we all knew what was going to happen. This year, I mean, you got Bieniemy's dad calling your show. Holy cow! What kind of passion is that when the dad of one of the players is calling up and defending how his son plays and all that. That's all passion. But I was at the post game conference myself, and one of the things that Sully Boom said, which you could feel, the devastation that they really felt they should have won this game. But one of the things he said was he missed 5 free throws. And unfortunately, in these types of games, the free throws are so important. And I wanted to ask you guys, didn't this game pass really quickly?
I guess so. Yeah, it was pretty fast. I mean, it was a back and forth game. It's 10:00 right now. I mean, we do a lot of these, but yeah, sure. I felt like there's been quicker games, but it did go by pretty fast.
Yeah, it was pretty fast. But look, the fact of the matter is that they played these guys on December 30th, I think, of last year.
That's right.
And they were paddled. And now, look where they were at. They were in a position to win it. They didn't. Okay, I mean, it's basketball, man. There's a lot of this year, especially. All the teams have been getting whacked. A lot of ranked teams getting hit. But it is what it is. But I will tell you, I think he hasn't prepared for the tournament. I think they're going to win the last 2 games in the season, and I think they're going to make some noise in the tournament. I don't know how far they'll get, but I will tell you that it's a different feeling than wondering what was going to happen last year,
They just got to get one of these big wins at home. That's my only thing. I'm with you 100%, Abel. I agree this is a successful season. I wrote about it earlier this week, how Joe Golding year 1 is beyond a success in my eyes. But UAB, this game was a 50-50 game down to the wire, and I think a lot of Miner fans are just heartbroken thinking that they should have won this one, which is true. And isn't that crazy to think? Because you're right. I mean, going back to your original statement, UTEP was done this time last year. They were donezo. The year before that, it was just a huge disappointment. And the year before that, it was not even a thought that UTEP would make the conference tournament. They won 8 games that year. So yeah,
we were praying for the play-in game that year.
I like that. Yeah, I like that. But going back to what you originally said, this team has progressed since the start of this year, and that's been the biggest thing is they are competing against the best teams in Conference USA, which is great right there.
And I'll leave you with this. I think the key to the night was somebody that I believe that if we don't get 12 points from him and at least 7 rebounds, we're always going to be real close to losing him, and that is Vanderhoeven.
Yeah, Verhoeven, most definitely. I'm with you on that. He had 4 points today, 7 rebounds in 32 minutes of action. Abel, I appreciate your phone call, man. Check out dialogueepradio.com. You can check out the podcast with Abel, and he called us here on the show as well. Really appreciate his phone call here as we continue on Miner Talk. 880-5763, our telephone number. Guys, we got to get to some tweets. I'm going to have both of you all react to this. I've gotten over the hiccups. We're good. I'm ready to talk. Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification as you're listening to Miner Talk, brought to you by the Oscar Arieta Agency, right here on 600 ESPN El Paso.
From hometown to national, sports spoken here. 600 ESPN El Paso is KROD El Paso, a Town Square media station.
First tweet to get to, Ryan Guzman. Miners gave UAB everything. They still came up short. Hashtag UTEP is still such a smidge. It's under the top tier of Conference USA teams, but still, UTEP is a team that can play spoiler in the conference tourney. Do you ever play spoiler in the conference tourney, Jason, when people didn't really think of you guys as a top team, or you guys came in under the radar and then you spoiled things for other people? You ever do that?
No, not really, because I think, my first year here, the only thing we was picked 9th, but we finished tied for first.
So, that's kind of under the radar, yeah?
I think that was about it, under the radar.
UTEP was 10th?
Before going to the March tournament, I think we already felt like we was going in as one of the top teams.
Wow. Okay.
Into March Madness. because we always finished 1 or 2 in conference.
Do you like that underdog kind of mentality? Did you like that?
I think
stuff?
that's how we always played. We always called ourselves blue collar. That's just the way our team was made of, bunch of blue collar, and that's how we got it done.
Do you think that's how UTEP, the recipe for success? Do you think that's the mentality? Be that blue collar team.
Be the blue collar team, because some teams and you get in a situation where you didn't know you was gonna be at. Right? You think you're going to want to go to Duke or North Carolina, but, hey, you're at UTEP, and it's a great college also. It's just you got to work a little harder.
I'm with you.
Than the bigger colleges. So ain't nothing wrong with being blue collar.
I'm with you. Okay.
You got to work for it.
Yeah, it kind of makes it. It kind of makes it even more special, because if you work for it and you go on the other side, that's a credit to you and your hard work.
And it's more fun. It's more fun, working for it. I don't want nothing easy. And I show them guys don't want it easy also. Everybody like it easy, but, we like to see the growth, man. And, I love this team. I think they have great players, and, they blue collar to me.
Okay.
They're a real blue collar team the way they play defense. And some things you can't teach. And they play defense and they play hard together. And so that's what I call blue collar team. A team that's going to continue to fight no matter what. If they losing or if they down. If they had a bad game, they're going to come back the next game and they're going to keep fighting, win or lose, and that's what this team has.
I'm with you on that, man. I'm totally with you. I think this is a blue-collar team for sure. Our telephone number, 880-5763, our telephone number to get into the show. Want to get to this tweet, and I want to get your thoughts on this one, Sal. This is from Kenny Onyema. On the last play, which, just going back in time, UTEP's final play, they gave it to Alfred Hollins for the three-point shot to try to tie the game up. Kenny Onyema on the show tweeted us, Golding did not draw up that play. I don't know. I mean, I don't know who drew up that play. This is where I stand on this, and I'll get your take on this.
Yeah.
I just like the fact that Golding takes ownership for things like this. He said, hey, late game situation, that's on me. I need to be better at that as a coach. I need to do better when it comes to late game situations. That's just my take right there.
Yeah, and that's what I like, that accountability, that ownership. And as far as the tweet from Kenny Onyema, I just want to throw in some context, because I think there was a little bit of a thread, and a tweet got lost in the middle when it was just a tweet saying, UTEP coach doesn't know what he's doing. How can you drop something like that? And then the response from Onyema was to that guy. But now it looks like he was just replying to you, because I guess that account got deleted or something for some foul language. But aside from that, though, I think that play just kind of went bust. And I don't think they really got off the shot that they wanted to, because with UAB, they thrive off of defense. And if they could play defense while the other team is trying to set up something half court, it's playground stuff to them. This is what they do. They love it. They have time to actually get in position, and I think they caught UTEP off guard.
I'll dish it to you, Jason. What did you think? Did you think about that last play?
Like he said, I don't think that was the play that was going to be drawn up, but I think by them putting pressure on UTEP, the other guys had to run down the court faster to give Bieniemy space, but they were still there, so the other men was able to help. So that took a lot of time off the clock. And so by the time he got to the other side, whatever play they had that they were supposed to run, they didn't have time to run it, because once he got the ball in, the other guys got to sprint to the other side of the court. Or you just taking up space, and now he's got to dribble up slow. Instead of just going to attack, maybe get a quick 2, or he get there in 10 seconds. It was 14 seconds or 11, if I'm not mistaken.
That's right. 14 seconds.
So now by him trying to bring it up, and that side is clogged, instead of the guy taking out another guy that was there to help, to run down the court. So that took the time just getting across half court, and that messed up the play.
And credit the UAB defense, man. They clamped down in the second half. UAB went on a 20-9 run to start things off in the second half, and you got to give this team a ton of credit. This team, I've said it a bunch of times on this show already, but this is the team who could end up being in the NCAA tournament when it's all said and done. I really like this UAB team. Let's go to Hunter, who's joining us on the phone lines right now. 880-5763. Our telephone number. We've got 2 lines available. Got a lot of tweets to still get to, but let's get to Hunter, who's joining us on the phone lines. What's up, Hunter? How's it going, man?
What's going on, guys? How you guys doing?
Better now, Hunter. Way better now.
Good to hear, man. It's and you've had a star-studded lineup today, man. All these call-ins, those, glad you could make time for us little people, man.
I know,
Crazy,
man. I was going to say, we got to start giving you the hotline numbers so when our phone lines are jammed up, you can get in.
You guys have been getting the good people in there, man. It's good to hear.
We got the A-listers here on Miner Talk. Yeah, I'm with you.
Man, I mean, I like Mr. Bieniemy's, passion. Obviously, he's got his son's back, but he's got to have a little thicker skin, man. I mean, come on. Fans are going to say what they say. They say some things that, anybody that knows the game, obviously it's not true. You know what I mean? And I'm sure he's been around the game long enough, and Jamal Bieniemy's been around the game. There's no need to even respond to some of the things. You know what I mean?
Well, but I also wanted to say that he also said Jamal Bieniemy doesn't respond to anything. Like, he doesn't respond to haters. He doesn't respond to people who like his stuff. He doesn't respond to anything. He keeps his head down and he works. That's Jamal Bieniemy's response.
Well, and that's how they should both be. Fans say all kinds of stuff. That's just what happens. Educated, uneducated, whatever it may be, it's just what's gonna happen. And as far as he's concerned, he had an off game. I didn't see him take bad shots. The shots just didn't fall sometimes. That's going to happen. Nobody's going to shoot 60, 70% every night. And, as far as his game this year, they wouldn't be where they're at without him. I think he had the most dominant 4-game stretch I've seen of any player that I can remember at UTEP. And I've been going to games since the 80s. Haven't seen a dominant stretch like that before.
You're talking about Old Dominion, UTSA, Florida Atlantic for Jamal Bieniemy?
I can't remember which 4 games it was, but I remember I had the conversation with you that man, the guy was just dominant. And the last person that I remember was scoring at will was one of your callers in Omar Thomas. But I don't remember him dominating like Jamal Bieniemy did through that stretch. And that goes for Antoine Gillespie. That goes for Tim Hardaway or whoever else. I'd never seen a stretch like that. So the guy's he's a great point guard to have here. The game's changed a little. It's not like how it was in the day where your point guard was just a facilitator. Nowadays, hey, your point guard's a scorer. Things have changed a little. But, there's no moral victory, so I'm kind of torn today because it's great to see that they can go at it with anybody in the league. That's promising, but, man, you'd hope that they can find a way to win these games. But the most disappointing thing to me for today is El Paso, man. This was a big game with a team that is playing their hearts out. You know what I mean? They're leaving it all out there. It's a big game against one of the top conference opponents, and we get 6,000. And everybody says, oh, that's great. That's our biggest crowd of the year. That's pathetic.
No, it's the second biggest crowd. Second biggest crowd. Uh-huh.
What else do you all want? Come out here and support this team. Maybe if we had 10,000 out there instead of just a couple people complaining, it does make a difference. I mean, and I'm sure Jason Williams can speak to it. How is it to play in front of 10, 11, 12,000 versus 5 or 6?
I mean, they bring the energy to the players, every time, just to walk out. And when you see a full stadium, it just gives you that energy automatic before the game start. It's like, damn, all these people came here to see us.
You feel in control?
Yes. You feel in control, and, you have a bigger crowd. It's loud, back then we had what they call it, the wave. It was good times. And, tonight was a good crowd for me since I've been back in town and going to the games.
Because the crowds have not been good at all.
Not been good.
That's right.
And the crowd was pretty loud tonight. But like he said, I think, you support the team whether good or bad. And fans, you have to understand also that it's new coach, new situations for players. And, it's a lot of stuff that go into it. But I always feel like, support me when I win, support me when I lose, or don't support me at all.
Okay. What did you think? Keep going, Hunter. Keep going. Sorry to cut you off there.
No, man, you're good. I mean, I wanted his opinion. It's just, and I'm sure like he would have said too, when you're a little fatigued, when the game's on the line, man, they'll give you that extra push where you can push through that possession, or you go grab that rebound, you go grab that loose ball. But there were so many promising things that came from today. That's the best game I've ever seen Sule play minus the free throws, which, I don't know what was going on there. But he was everywhere. He was everywhere. Nobody took any bad shots. Titus, who I couldn't stand earlier in the season, he's going up against that monster down low and just battling all game long, battling. Onyema goes in there, battles. got some cool rebounds, some tough ones, had that putback dunk in traffic.
That was awesome.
I mean, they're out there battling. I mean, what else do we want? Yes, I want them to win the game, absolutely. But, hey, they went out. UAB's going to win the conference tournament, I think. They are a complete team. They got the bigs. They got those tough guards. That 10's running all over the court, going through screens. You give him 1 second, and the guy buried the shot. I mean, he's tough.
He's ice cold, yeah. He's so good.
Yeah, so, I mean, that's just – they lost to a better team. Like someone said earlier, they lost to a better team, and they battled. So I'll be there Thursday, I'll be there Saturday, and I still say they'll probably split these last 2 games, and I still say they'll win a conference tournament game.
Okay.
And Joe Golding has overachieved this season by far with this team.
Oh, I completely agree with that, man. I think it was a success as soon as they swept the Louisiana Tech Southern Miss series. That's when I felt it was a success. That was the punctuation mark for me. Everything else is a cherry on top. So I'm with you completely, Hunter. Hey, appreciate the phone call, man. Have a great rest of your weekend.
You too, guys. Thanks.
All right, let's go to Twitter. Actually, let's take a timeout right now. We're long overdue. Let's take a timeout right now. When we come back, we're going to get to a lot of tweets. Pinky, El Paso Visuals Deportivos, Joe Chacon, who's blowing us up on Twitter, Lugal, Tristan Pence. We'll get to all those tweets and more. If you'd like to weigh in, now is the time to give us a call. We have lines cleared right now, 880-5763 to get into Miner Talk. Jason Williams, Sal Montes, Adrian Broadus here. We're going to take a timeout as you're listening to Miner Talk, brought to you by the Oscar Arieta Agency, right here on 600 ESPN El Paso.
Hi, I'm Matt Keats, president of Keats Southwest. Since 1994, we have manufactured hundreds of metal components that people use in their everyday lives. A garage door opener is something commonly found in homes and cars all across the country. In fact, we produce 10 to 15 million garage door visor clips for your remote controls. In addition, we deliver the best precision metal components for businesses throughout the world, all made here in El Paso. Learn more about Keats Southwest at KeatsSW.com.
This is Steve Kaplowitz, and 600 ESPN El Paso has a great way for you to enjoy sports talk on demand. Download our show by subscribing to the free 600 ESPN El Paso podcasts on your Apple or Google Play device. After that, you can enjoy the best of sports talk each day, delivered commercial-free to your phone or tablet. That's right, all the best calls, interviews, and insight with the touch of a button, so you never miss a moment. 600 ESPN El Paso podcasts.
You're the one everyone looks to for answers. Come rain or shine, the job must get done, and you're the one who makes it happen. We get you, Jackie in Fresno, putting your employee safety first. And Manny in Chattanooga, whose local Granger team knows him by name. We're here for you and all the ones who get it done, with 24/7 customer support and access to product specialists to help you find what you need. Call, click Granger.com, or just stop by. Granger, for the ones who get it done.
When winter weather impacts us here in the borderland, it can bring things to a halt in a big hurry.
And that's why the ABC7 Storm Track Weather Team has the most up-to-date technology and the most experience. We use street-level tracking to let you know exactly what's going on in your neighborhood.
And our Future Track model to show you when, where, and how much wind, rain, or snow we expect.
With Traffic Track, we can tell you where that problem is and how to avoid it.
The ABC7 Storm Track Weather Team.
With the tools and experience to keep your family safe.
Words like history and tradition are used to describe the UTEP basketball team. With roots in El Paso, the Oscar Arieta Agency is built on these principles too. At the Oscar Arieta Agency, we are proud El Pasoans. With a trusted history for over 24 years in our community, trust us for your home, auto, or life insurance needs. Request a free proposal today at OscarArietaAgency.com. 7 locations across El Paso from the west side to Fabens.
The official insurance agent of the UTEP Miners. Go Miners!
Howdy, Lauren Hodges of Longhorn Distributing, proud supporters of UTEP basketball and Coach Joe Golding. Coach Golding has made some changes, and so has Longhorn Distributing. We've added ceramic coatings to our store. We've expanded our service department to give faster and more efficient service on pressure washers and cleaning equipment. Longhorn Distributing is the only distributor for hot seat pressure washers in West Texas and southern New Mexico. We're located at 5516 East Paisano, so call us for a demonstration at 772-9092.
You're listening to Miner Talk on 600 ESPN El Paso, brought to you by the Oscar Arieta Agency, locally owned and operated for 24 years.
All right, welcome back. Miner Talk continues. The UAB defeats UTEP 69-66. If you'd like to talk about it with us, 880-5763. Jason Williams, Sal Montes in the building. Jason and I were just talking about Jamal Bieniemy a little bit, extended, because what a season he's had as a point guard. You just, as a true point guard, Jason. It's interesting. Well, let me take this back, because Jamal Bieniemy, we've seen him play two sides this year. He's played on ball and off ball, and it's very different, because when he's playing off ball, he could be that spot up shooter and really help out the Miners. When he's playing on ball, he kind of does it all. Like, he's going to try to shoot, he's going to try to facilitate, he's going to guard the other team's best defender and things like that. I'm curious to see what it will take Bieniemy to just take his game to that next level, because he's there. Like, in my opinion, he is so close to being a first-team All-Conference USA player. Like, this close. And he should be, when it's all said and done, when the Conference USA awards come out, he should be on the third team, no lower than third team. If he's honorable mention, I will think that's a big-time shame. He should be second team or first team when it's all said and done. There's just a lot of great guards in this league. But what is it going to take for Jamal Bieniemy to just take that next step, Jason? What do you think in your perspective? Because you love the size, you love the IQ. What does he need to do to get to that next level and be that first team all Conference USA player?
I think, like I said, with his size, he's 6'5", and he's playing point guard. And, it's probably, I'm not sure if it's a position he played his whole life. Maybe since he's been in college, he really started playing point guard more. But I just think him learning how to actually control the game a whole lot more and still take his shots, because, you can't take away his scoring and his ability. But I just think just learning how to control the game a little more, making sure everybody in the right position, and then him becoming a better creator far as one-on-one, getting to the goal, kicking it out, dumping it off to the big man. Those little stuff like, the normal point guards do, which, he's still a great passer. I think, he can actually average more assists than he averages, because I think he's a good enough player to do that. I just think he just have to take time and just study other point guards, learn how to score and how to distribute and just learn how to control the game a little more. And as he's getting older, with more time, that stuff would just become natural.
Plus, I can see that.
Plus, with Coach Oral Boykins there, I'm sure
there you go.
That can actually take him to the next level of being a more elite point guard.
I can see that. I can definitely see that. 880-5763, our telephone number as we continue. 600 ESPN El Paso on Twitter, where we need to get some tweets read. This is from Pinky. Free throws. That's it. That's the tweet. Sal, do you buy that? Do you buy people blaming the free throws in this game?
No, I don't, because we weren't blaming that on Louisiana Tech when the Miners won on the road. It's the exact same thing. Only difference is it's UTEP who lost today. I mean, we look at the game against Louisiana Tech where the shooting percentage from the free throw line was atrocious for Louisiana Tech. Kenny Lofton, couldn't get one to save his life. But when you look at today with the Miners and, they're struggling, miss consecutive free throws, in the second half at crucial points, it's the exact same thing. So if we're going to say that UTEP won the game against Louisiana Tech, we have to say that UAB won the game against UTEP tonight.
Yeah, that's a great statement.
You can't flip it around.
Yeah, I'm with you completely on that. El Paso Visuals Deportivos. Why did UTEP foul UAB with only 9 seconds left on the shot clock? Hashtag MinerTalk. It's the advanced analytics. That's the bottom line. That's the only reason that in my perspective, in why they decided to do that. Now, the reason why Boom didn't foul earlier was he had 4 fouls. So they were probably thinking, well, if we need to go on the other side with Boom, we want him to possibly take that last shot. So no, don't have him foul. Alfred Hollins darts up and fouls. Well, what happens with UAB? They make 2 free throws. There's only 9 seconds left, or there's only 14 seconds left in the game. And then the Miners are left to have to, draw up their own play and make a 3-point attempt. That's in my perspective. Jason, in your time, it was like, hey, let them bleed out the clock, right? Was that the perspective? And we'll take it with 3 seconds left, whatever it is.
Yeah, I thought that was, after a while, I thought that was what they was going to do. Just let them go ahead and take the last shot and then get the rebound with 5 seconds left and call timeout. But then also I thought,
which strategy do you like?
I prefer, hey, let's go trap. Let's try to get a steal first, And then if we don't get a steal, and if they're going to get a layup, now we get a foul. But first you got to go try to get that steal to create that turnover to get the easy basket.
I was looking at the bench. It just looked like confusion. It just looked like confusion between players and coaches. Yeah.
It looked like, do they foul? Do we don't foul? Do we go trap? Do we not trap? And it just looked that situation. And at the same time, I was really looking at Kennedy. He really wanted to force him left. He was able to do it the first time, but then the second time, he let him get back right, and that's when he was able to go by him.
I see.
To me, when you really go watch the play, he really wanted to force him left.
I see. Okay. This coming in from Kevin. UTEP had that game. Regardless, I'm still proud of how hard this squad fought tonight. Like I always say, it's about playing the full 40 minutes. The defense sort of fell apart in the second half. This coming in from Joe Chacon. Sounds like you were doing the same thing I was doing during this game and now listening to the show, especially after watching those missed free throws. Easily could have been a win. 2 out of the 3. Let's get it. Hashtag reppin' from Cali now. Hashtag MinerTalk. Coming from Adrian at Enemy Win 3. Cure for hiccups. Get a mouthful of water, plug your ears, bend over with the head below your waist, and swallow. Guaranteed to work. Adrian, I wish I read this tweet 50 minutes ago, but I'm good now. So I appreciate the tweet. I appreciate the help on that one. I should have read this a lot earlier. You could have helped me in that first segment. King Eric tweets the show. Oh, you're going to like this one, Sal. This one is definitely a heartbreaker. Defense stepped up when it needed to, but you got to get the offensive boards to create second chance points. Also, Sule missing those free throws was huge. Now, he brings up UTEP's offensive rebounds. How about UAB? 14 offensive rebounds. They had 13 points in second chance scenario. That's it right there. The fact that UAB was able to out-rebound the Miners 42-25, that's one of the big storylines out of this one.
Yeah, that's almost half of them. I mean, they double up their own rebounding numbers. They get 14 offensive rebounds and then 28 on the defensive side. But that's what you do when you're on the road. You got to find other ways to win. And if they're going to be aggressive on the glass and give themselves extra possessions, by all means, that is a big factor into why UAB won. But although the free throws did hurt, I mean, we're looking at multiple possessions that UAB was able to take track of. I mean, do you want to blame fault at a 3-point loss when there were 7 missed free throws, or do you want to look at potentially 28 points off of the 14 offensive rebounds? You know? I mean, let me see what they actually had on an offensive second chance. Okay, 13 points. So I mean, still you cannot give that up. I mean, something's got to give.
Yeah, you're right. You can't. You got to be better at rebounding if you're UTEP. Jonathan Byers tweets the show, had Jordan Walker not gotten hot in the second half from deep, UTEP would have easily won this game. I think that's a great sign, although UAB did successfully play bully ball against us down low for a little bit in the start of the second half there. The start of the second half, you can call it interior bully ball. I just call it bad. I just thought UTEP was a little stale coming out of the half, and they just looked a little sluggish. And, they what's interesting about UTEP is they just kind of hang around in games. They kind of stick with you, even though you might go up by 10 points, maybe even more. I mean, in this game, UAB, their biggest lead in this one was by 8 points in the at the 7:30 minute mark. So UAB had an 8-point lead, yet the Miners fought back and made this one a 3-point game. That just shows you how this team really fights when it's all said and done. 915 Sun City tweets us, Adrian, I feel with you for the hiccups, but Sal, can you make a sick beat with Adrian and the hiccups? Adrian and Sal are the best. Cheers to a good show. Appreciate you, 915 Sun City, here on the show, and appreciate the love there. Jonathan Byers, actually, I'm sorry, this is Joe Chacon again. Nothing a little tweet can do to spark some interest. Fire up the bass. Tristan Pence tweets us, that first 5 minutes in the second half really changed the game. UTEP's effort was tremendous tonight, but it was UAB's experience and poise down the stretch that was the difference. Keontae's return is a great addition, and UTEP will be a dangerous team moving forward into March. That's coming from Tristan Pence on the show. Shout out Tristan, always brings the fire with the tweets. What happened, Jason, that first 5 minutes out of the second half? I felt like that was a far different UTEP basketball team. Do they take for granted that they had a lead 34-27 coming out of the break. I mean, UAB looked like they wanted to really kill UTEP out of the second half, and they went on a 20-9 run to start things off. That's tough to come out of.
I think sometimes, you can get too comfortable, Maybe, I don't know how they really felt, but maybe they came out, thought, we was home and they was up, about 7 points to start the half.
Sure.
And, sometimes you come out flat, but the most important time when you come into second half, the first 5 minutes. You can't come out flat your first 5 minutes to start the second half, no matter what team it is. And
are you a firm believer in quick timeouts, or are you not? Do you like how Joe Golding lets them play?
It all depends how the coach feel about his team.
How do you feel? What's your philosophy on it?
Well, if they have lack of energy, then I have to call my timeout to try to give them energy.
Okay.
But if we just not executing, then that's something that you could just let your players play through.
Let them play. Yeah, and I think that's what he was kind of doing. He was letting them play through it.
And it's like, with college, you got to try to save your timeouts too.
Okay.
So maybe he didn't want to use it too early and maybe have it towards the end of the game. There's many situations that coaches could think, but, to start the second half, you got to bring the energy back to your team somehow. So maybe calling the timeout and just doing whatever, screaming at him just to get that energy back.
Yeah, I mean, the previous two coaches that when I was here, as I've been here covering UTEP, previous two coaches, they'd take quick timeouts. Like, things wouldn't go right, boom, quick timeout, and, try to re-energize the bench or get with the bench and stuff like that. Yeah, I kind of, this is an interesting change because Joe Golding lets them play, and I just haven't covered anybody who's done that before, so it's new for me. So I don't know. I mean, I have no perspective. I mean, I have no idea of which one I prefer over the other. I would love to see some advanced numbers to see what would work and what doesn't, but I also think it's just kind of, like you said, it's coach's preference. It's how the coach decides to do it with their own team. This coming in for Bryce Chauvin. Hell yeah, Mr. JB. Jamal Bieniemy had an off night, and it happens. He'll be on fire the next two. Go, JB. Hashtag picks up. This is from Bryce, who really liked the call from Mr. Bieniemy. This one coming in from Adrian at Enemy Win 3. Hunter needs to chill. Times are tough. Ticket prices are high. We just got over a pandemic. Gas prices are high. Inflation is hard. It's coming from Adrian at Enemy Win 3 on the show in regards to Hunter's call about the attendance, the low attendance. This is from YYS. I'm right across the street from MinerTalk. I should walk over and do a cameo. That's from YYS. I like that. This is coming in from Kenny Onyema. Keontae's impact after an injury like this is inspiring. Hashtag MinerTalk. It really, I mean, it's an inspirational comeback because 15 games you're out and then you come back like this. I mean, I know he was hungry. I know he was excited and everything, but before the game started, I was assured. I mean, I was told, look, man, he's going to play in 2-minute spurts. He's not going to go over 15 minutes. Don't look at this guy as being a key contributor tonight. I was told that. And look at what he did. 22 minutes off the bench, 10 points, and they had to rely on him. It wasn't like, oh, no, let's take him out. No, they're relying on Keontae Kennedy.
Yeah. Well, maybe that was the plan all along, and he just wanted to throw people out of the loop.
Do you think it was more of the thing where they saw how he was moving on the court, and they were like, how can we take this guy out?
I think I think it's a little bit of that. I think they definitely did want to get him, in the flow and in rotation. But once he was, he was feeling, the chemistry and was able to, get out there and really gel with the team, that played a factor into it. But also, too, maybe Coach Golding is a mastermind behind all this and saying, hey, now we're just going to give him a couple minutes here. And UAB's people are listening to the broadcast. Hey, Coach Kennedy is only going to be playing this many minutes. All right, whatever the case is. And then, threw everybody out of the wax. So I think it's like 50-50 there.
Okay, I like that, man. Hey, Jason, you've been awesome to spend some time with here on the show today. Before you bounce out of here, because you've been so gracious with your time, you hung with us for over an hour. Jason, I want to ask you, what's going on at the lab, the Sun City lab? You're training basketball players left and right, 7 days a week. If there are any interested parents, you have my seal of approval because I know you and you talk basketball with us here on MinerTalk all the time. But can you give our listeners some info on where they could sign up, where they can learn more, all that kind of stuff?
Yes. They have a new gym in the Northeast called Sun City Sports Lab. We have Vertimaxes and we have Dr. Dish Machine, and of course
it
over
looks
there,
awesome. By the way,
yes, it's real nice. I can't wait for the paintings on the wall to get done. And of course, we have group and private training every day. Group training during the week, twice a week, 3 times a week, however many times you want to come. We have private training on weekends, and if you're interested and you want to get your child and to help develop their craft, don't matter where they at, can't dribble, can dribble, we willing to work with everybody because, everybody needs to improve on their craft these days. Basketball is different, and you can't just play the game. So, I'm just happy to be back in El Paso and trying to give the kids here the same things I had when I was young, as far as the basketball-wise, and just to teach them how to be professionals.
That's awesome, man. Ages?
5 and up. We take all ages 5 and up. Also, we having a spring break camp coming up at Sun City Sports Lab. It's going to be from 9 to 12:30. It's $50 before March 4th, and after it'll be $60. It's going to be March 14th through the 16th. So if you interested, just send me a Instagram post at J_Willie1 or just hit us up on Sun City Sports Lab on Instagram.
That's easy, man. Great stuff. Hey, you're awesome as always, Jason. I always love your analysis of the game. I really appreciate you stopping by here on Talk with us.
Thank you for always having me. I'm always happy to come. Anytime you say, hey, Jay, are you coming on this week? I'm coming.
All right. Well, maybe we'll get you for Senior Day next week.
Yes,
how about that?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, man.
Thank you, guys.
Hey, we appreciate Jason Williams joining us on the show. Let's take a time out right now. When we come back, we'll get to some more tweets. We'll talk some awards on the show. Our hot hand of the game brought to you by Wind Supply El Paso, and our player of the game thanks to Keith Southwest. You're listening to MinerTalk right here on 600 ESPN El Paso.
Steve Kaplowitz and 600 ESPN El Paso has a great way for you to enjoy sports talk on demand. Download our show by subscribing to the free 600 ESPN El Paso podcasts on your Apple or Google Play device. After that, you can enjoy the best of sports talk each day, delivered commercial-free to your phone or tablet. That's right, all the best calls, interviews, and insight with the touch of a button, so you never miss a moment. 600 ESPN El Paso podcasts. Wind Supply El Paso is proud to team up with Champion Heating and Cooling to deliver the most unrivaled reliability, energy efficiency, and superior comfort you can count on. Wind Supply El Paso is the official distributor of Champion Heating and Cooling equipment for your home or business. If you own a home building or HVAC company, you need a reliable AC and furnace supply store. For more information on Champion equipment and an authorized dealer, contact us at 915-859-3817 and online at windsupplyelpaso.com.
You're going to love what Cupid is bringing to Sunland Park Racetrack and Casino. Free play and cash. Win your share of over $35,000 in Cupid's cash Tuesdays and Thursdays in February. Hot seat drawings to win up to $500 cash every half hour from 4 until 10 p.m. Cupid's cash and free play hot seats Tuesdays and Thursdays in February, where there's always more. Sunland Park Racetrack and Casino.
Play responsibly. Helpline 1-800-572-1142.
Words like history and tradition are used to describe the UTEP basketball team. With roots in El Paso, the Oscar Arrieta Agency is built on these principles too. At the Oscar Arrieta Agency, we are proud El Pasoans. With a trusted history for over 24 years in our community, trust us for your home, auto, or life insurance needs. Request a free proposal today at OscarArrietaAgency.com. 7 locations across El Paso from the west side to Fabens.
The official insurance agent of the UTEP Miners. Go Miners!
Hi, I'm Matt Keats, president of Keats Southwest. Since 1994, we have manufactured hundreds of metal components that people use in their everyday lives. Catheters are commonly used by millions of people. In fact, we produce 30 million catheter clips each year that are sent to hospitals all over the world. In addition, we deliver the best precision metal components for businesses throughout the world, all made here in El Paso. Learn more about Keats Southwest at KeatsSW.com.
Pickles? I love pickles.
Genuine, dill, sweet, sour, kosher, gherkin, Polish, German. I love pickles.
Saturday, March 19th, Epic Rail Yard and Event Center. KLAQ presents The Pickle Party. The KLAQ Pickle Party, featuring food, fun, and live music with Funky Mungle, Feline Fox, and Stan Z.
Doors open 2 p.m. Games, contests, and pickles. Visit Farmer's Market and bring home your pickled favorites while supplies last.
Plus, pickle up for the VIP experience. Brought to you by WB Liquors, where VIP, very important pickles, get a big deal. A chef-inspired menu of pickle food favorites, pickle drinks, Modelo Especial beer, private area, and more. 2 VIP sessions, 2 till 5 and 6 till 9.
Part of the proceeds benefit TNR, Trap Neuter Relief.
It's a Pickle Palooza with advanced tickets just $5 at all Yes We Do Family Hair Care locations and Legacy Wellness CBD on Red Road. Or purchase online for advanced tickets and all VIP experience tickets at KLAQ.com.
From Modelo Especial, Johnson Jewelers, WB Liquors, Roto-Rooter, Comfort Zone, Charlie Clark Nissan, Relax and Kick Social. Full details at KLAQ.com.
You're listening to Miner Talk on 600 ESPN El Paso. Brought to you by the Oscar Arieta Agency. Locally owned and operated for 24 years.
Back here on Miner Talk, UAB defeats UAB. UAB defeats UAB. UAB defeats UTEP 69-66. Sal, it's been a great show. We had some great calls, great tweets.
Oh, yeah.
Let's keep it moving. We have some more tweets to get to. And our phone number, 880-5763, as we continue here on the show. Lugal tweets the show. When you have 2 fathers of players contribute to the show, you know that you made it. Miners played tough tonight. Got to continue to grow.
That's true, yeah, because we got Troy Bieniemy and then, of course, Kingsley Onyema.
I think we have more out there. They're just not. They're not vocal on the show. But I appreciate Troy.
How does this internet thing work?
I appreciate Troy Bieniemy, and I appreciate Kingsley Onyema and Mary Onyema, for that matter,
right,
and Kenny Onyema. So we got the whole Onyema family.
Yeah.
So before, who do we have calling? Jordan Lathan's mom? She called into the show?
That's right. It was after he hit the shot against, was it the Lobos or the Aggies?
Something like that.
One of the two at the Haskins Center. I think it was the Lobos.
I think we've had some more callers from parents who've not said their correct name or something like that.
And you know who else too? Switching it over to football, Ryan Metz's father.
That's right.
Yeah,
Mr. Metz called in before. That's exactly right. Good call there. And I saw Ryan Metz today. He was there watching some hoops.
Nice.
Praise Mehule was there. Praise Mehule walked up to me. He's like, Adrian, the student section's packed. This side's packed. Where do I go? He came in all late. He's like, I just want to support the basketball team,
That's
man.
Awesome, man.
Yeah, shout out Praise. He was there. Quentin Demps was there as well.
All right.
He's in town with the Quentin Demps Foundation, so that was really cool to see him. Of course, Jason Williams. A lot of people were there tonight at the Haskins Center, so that was cool just to see it a little bit more full than we've seen in past time. I go with Adrian at Enemy Win 3. You know, I sympathize with people because, yeah, it's a pandemic, and yeah, ticket prices are really high at UTEP right now. And if you have ESPN Plus, there are people who would rather just watch it on the Plus versus going in person or listening to us here on 600 ESPN El Paso and not necessarily going to the game. So I completely understand that. I sympathize with that as well. I also get where Hunter's coming with just wanting more people because, hey, there are a lot of people who are doing other things in the city of El Paso tonight. They're out going to restaurants, out going to the Kevin Hart show like OT. You know, there are people in El Paso who do other forms of entertainment. You just hope that, you know, at some point fans will return to the Haskins Center in a big form.
And you know what, too? This is kind of a different topic, but UTEP plays a small part in this, at least in the positive point I'm trying to make. This is for all the people who say there's nothing to do in El Paso. There's so much going on tonight, and you know, you have people literally deciding between UTEP and the Kevin Hart show, and we can even take it a step back to I don't know if it was October or November. I think it was October when the Miners are going to play UTSA. You know, you had a locomotive game that had to get moved as well. They did that just so people who wanted to go to both games would be able to because of the time change. So yeah, there's a lot to do in El Paso.
No, I'm with you on that, man, and there's a lot more to do in El Paso now compared to way back when the Haskins Center was full nonstop. If you're a family with 4 kids, or you have a family of 4, you might decide to do something different versus going to the Haskins Center and watching the Miners. It's just a reality. So I see both perspectives, and I think it's interesting points on both ends. This coming in from Joe Chacon. Got a new Miner fan tonight. Adam says the Miners have what it takes to be a contender. Always recruiting new fans to the team and the show. # getting new listeners. I love that, man.
Nice.
Joe Chacon. He's not only tweeting the show, he's not only a friend of ours, but he's also getting new listeners for us. So I appreciate Joe Chacon being the recruiter. This is from Jonathan Byers. This team is not going to rebound. You should know that by now. This team doesn't have the size to do that. Maybe next season we'll get a big man who could dominate in the paint, but as of this season, that's not us. We just have to accept that.
And you know what, too? That's a fair point, because
that's a good one.
Game in and game out, that has been a spot that they've really been hit at, that the other teams are attacking to take advantage. And what do you do at this point if you're UTEP? And no matter what you're doing, you're just unable to forget out rebounding the other team. Just have the other team's rebound not mean as much. It's not so much as stopping the other. How can you slow them down? And we really haven't seen a counter to it. So would the best bet be really to just focus on what you're good at and let the ball bounce whatever way that it will?
Yeah, I mean, it's a really good point, Sal. I'm totally with you on that. Going over to some more stats, talking some of the UTEP stats from tonight. Sule Boom with 26 points. He led all scorers in this one. What a great game and a great effort by Sule Boom. Titus Verhoeven with 4.7 rebounds. I'm with Hunter. I just thought the fact that he goes up against Trey Jameson, who is a great center. I mean, he killed UTEP earlier this year, Sal, when they lost that game. I thought Titus was awesome tonight. I don't know what they're getting out of Jamari Sibley. I'm just going to skip that one right there because I simply don't know. I think if you're going to go both ways, if you are banking on his upside, or if you want to hammer Jamari Sibley, I don't think either of those are accurate right now. I just simply think we don't know with Jamari Sibley. Sal, do you have a good assessment on him?
I don't, and I
don't.
He's been given minutes throughout the stretch this season, but hasn't really.
And a starter.
A starter as well. We've seen him, out at the beginning, going for the tip-off. I don't know why it's taking me so long to say that, but, we've seen him go for the tip-off and, get it a couple of times. But aside from that, where's his space, on this team when it comes to the offense? And then on defense, we know that he's still working on that to get there. But if he's on the floor, that means he's doing something right, and Coach Golding trusts him out there because he sees something in him. So maybe it's just untapped potential that really just has yet to be released.
Maybe he's just young. Maybe, the fact that he hasn't played in a lot of Division I games, that's another thing.
That's fair. It's exactly fair, yeah.
Jarrell Satterfield, 3 points today. He had 16 minutes. Now you're starting to see a minute split between Jarrell Satterfield, Keontae Kennedy, and Christian Agnew. Just get used to it because those three are going to have to share minutes, and I don't know how they do it because tonight when you saw Jarrell Satterfield, he had 16 minutes. You look at Keontae Kennedy, he led the group with 22 minutes, and then Christian Agnew, he's the third man behind the two with just 12 minutes off the bench. So it's going to be tough to share this time here.
Well, you know what though? I don't think it'll be as tough because although you mentioned 3, I think it really just boils down to 2. The only
You're
reason,
taking Agnew out.
No, because the reason I'm saying this is Keontae Kennedy is going to get majority of those minutes, and it's really just going to be between Agnew and Satterfield. Those are the two who are going to battle it out for there because we know it's going to be Kennedy, Bieniemy, and then also Sule Boom out there, in the high 30s. Maybe if it goes overtime, we could see 40-plus for those guys. So it's really going to be a battle between Satterfield and Agnew.
Yeah, I think that's a really good assessment there about the minutes split because I think next game Keontae's in the starting lineup. I'd be surprised if he's not. And even if he's not, it doesn't really matter because he'll still get the bulk of the minutes off the bench if that's the case. Why aren't they starting Alfred Hollins?
I have no idea.
I like Alfred Hollins a lot. He had a great game tonight, Sal. 8 points, 6 rebounds. He had 1 assist, 28 minutes of action, 2 steals defensively. He does it on both sides. He's making some veteran plays today.
He is, but also, too, where is that spark off of the bench? We've been searching for it all season, and when he comes off of the bench, he provides that. He gets in the game a lot quicker when it comes to these games for the Miners. So maybe they have him coming off the bench to be either that sixth man or that spark plug, because we talked about the spark plug position.
I agree with that.
And one of them, in my opinion, is Onyema. He for some reason he gets a monster dunk every single game. And
every game
that hypes the team up. But when we're talking, beyond that, Hollins is that guy. So I think it's just having a reliable veteran coming off of the bench more so than being a starter.
Sure, I agree with that. He's like the best sixth man that you could find out of the second tier of Conference USA's best teams. So I'm with you on that one, Sal. Zarek Onyema, man, he comes in. He has 8 minutes off the bench. And I just think, there's not going to be a player on this current UTEP roster who's going to excite fans more than Zarek Onyema's dunk. When he dunked that ball, that crowd went insane. They went berserk. And the craziest part is on the other end, he gets this monster block. So this guy does it on both sides. He gets the rebound, he gets the big dunk, then he gets the block. This guy, he does it on both ends, and he's a nice spark. If once he adjusts fully on defense, he's going to be a really. And let's preface this, Sal. Let's dial this back a little bit, because Zarek Onyema was, I don't want to say an afterthought last year. He just was shelved. He just did. We never saw any of Zarek Onyema. And anytime we'd see him, we would just, we would damper everybody's opinions on him, because everybody was like, oh, give him more minutes. He has those nice dunks. And we'd say, yeah, we agree. But they're not going to do that last year. And this year, he's had the opportunities to get more minutes. And I think he fights. He gives them so much energy and so much spark. And the fans just love him. He's the most loved player on this team, I think.
Yeah, I think the fans love his dunks the most out of everybody. I don't think fans have gotten this excited for dunks. So different positions and different eras, don't get me wrong, but people go crazy for his dunks the same way when they would for Deion Stroud, or we take it back
that's
beyond
right.
that.
That's a great comparison.
Randy Culpepper. I mean, those guys' dunks would electrify the entire crowd, and Zarek Onyema is on his way to being a fan favorite. Just when they see him jump, they already know what time it is. So that's something. But in terms of the minutes for Zarek Onyema, I think one of the reasons why he really didn't see the floor much tonight is because they're guys who are going to play in the big spots, Titus Verhoeven, and then one who would come in, off the bench. I don't want to say that exact position, but to play a big type of role. Alfred Hollins, you look at what they do on the stat sheet, Verhoeven only has 2 fouls, and Alfred Hollins only has 2 fouls. So if those guys are not in foul trouble, it's going to be very, very tough to crack the rotation.
I'll ask you, Sal, what stat stood out to you that we haven't really mentioned right now. But before I do that, I want to mention this. This was not the second most attended game this year. This was actually the third. It was the highest attended game in conference play for the Miners. The opener, the season opener against Western New Mexico, drew 6,751 people. The game against New Mexico State at home was 6,392, and then tonight 6,100. So third overall in attendance for this year is what we saw tonight, and maybe we'll see more next week against Rice. Maybe it comes senior day against North Texas. That's an afternoon tip-off at 1 o'clock, so curious to see how the attendance will go next week. Sal, any stats that stood out to you here?
The one that sticks out to me the most is for a team in UAB who uses their bigs and is physical, UTEP better than them in the paint today. 28 points to UAB 16. So that showed to me that they weren't afraid to be aggressive, which I really, really like. But that's just the scoring aspect. We flip it around to the other side, on defense. They're defending well enough to force a missed shot, but they're not closing that and getting the rebound, giving UAB another chance to put that ball back. So I did like how they were, almost doubling up UAB in the points in the paint. But at the end of the day, though, it was those offensive rebounds by the Blazers that killed the Miners.
No, I'm with you on that one, Sal. The offensive boards is something that UTEP, well, I can't say they can get better. We're at the final stretch of the season. It is what it is. They should
be better, yeah.
Yeah, they're just not going to be among among some of the best teams in Conference USA, which is what we saw tonight. UAB is one of the best teams. I think it's North Texas, UAB, 1A, 1B for me. Jaime Moya tweets the show. Those 6,000 of us that were there were pretty loud.
Yeah.
These Miners look exciting. # birthday outing. Happy birthday, Jaime Moya.
Actually, really quickly, that's my cousin.
Awesome.
And,
Good
birthday,
stuff.
Birthday outing for my cousin Savion. That's his oldest son. I think he just turned 13 today. That is
No
ridiculous.
way.
I can't believe it. Also, shout out to my cousin Annika. In case you guys didn't know, I have a really, really big family. Savion, my little cousin, his birthday today, going out with his buddies. And
so cool.
My little cousin Seth, who's his younger brother. And, big sports guy. So want to give a big shout out to the Moya family, my cousin Sam, my cousin Jaime, and everybody out there. So
that's awesome, Sal.
Happy birthday, and happy birthday, Annika.
Most definitely, man. Happy birthday, Annika. Paul Reynoso tweets us, if people can afford tickets to a Bad Bunny concert, then there are plenty of people who can go to a UTEP game.
The people who went to the Bad Bunny concert are not going to the UTEP game.
It's a different demographic there, Paul.
To be fair, they did go to the Haskins Center, right?
Maybe for the first time in that case. I'm with you on that, Sal. Sal, let's get to our awards today. Do you have anything else that we need to bring up? Are we missing anything? I think we're good.
I think we pretty much covered it all.
I think we're good.
Let's hand them out. Yeah.
Okay, let's go Hot Hand Award. I'm swinging these to you, man. So pressure's on for you because you've been on the hot streak lately. Speaking of hot hand, it's you, Sal, who's using the hot hand each and every Miner Talk. Sal Montes, hot hand of the game. I'm going to give you some possible candidates here.
Go ahead.
Okay, number 1. Alfred Hollins, off the bench, 8 points, 6 rebounds, 28 minutes of action. Number 2, you could go Sule Boom, if you want to give him 2 awards maybe tonight. 26 points, 8 of 12 from the floor, but I loved his 4 of 5 from beyond the arc. You could give it to Sule Boom. Could you give it to Titus Verhoeven, 4 points and 7 rebounds? Or could you give it to Keontae Kennedy with 10 points today? He had 3 total rebounds. He also had a steal in 22 minutes off the bench after missing 15 games of action. Sal, where are we going here?
You know what? I really, really wanted to pick Alfred Hollins. 8 points, 4 for 7, but going 0 for 3 from beyond the arc, it's just that one just really stings. However, 6 rebounds. He was incredible, but the reason why I'm not giving it to Alfred Hollins is because I got to go with the last guy you mentioned. Keontae Kennedy comes back in the game. Yes, he's under 500 overall at 3 for 7, but he hits 75% from the charity stripe. Drains one of 3 from beyond the arc, but also for his first game back against a very, very good defensive team in UAB, one of the best, and the reason I say one of is because Middle Tennessee exists and also North Texas exists.
Sure.
But, this team loves to turn teams over, and Keontae Kennedy, his first game back, does not even turn the ball over.
I love that.
I got to give it to him there, and also cracks double digits. So Keontae Kennedy, hot hand of the game.
I love that. Win Supply El Paso brings the Hot Hand of the Game award after every Miner Talk game. Keep your house warm, comfortable, cool this spring with a new Champion furnace from Win Supply El Paso. Win Supply El Paso, the official supplier of Champion heating and cooling products. To locate your nearest Champion dealer, visit the Find a Dealer tab at WinSupplyElPaso.com. Keontae Kennedy, by the way, his pops was in the building. He was flexing on them. He was excited, pumping up the crowd. He had the real swagger and a real freshness to his game today. So real happy that UTEP got him back. Player of the game time, Sal. Where are we going here? Keith Southwest brings us the player of the game.
None other than Mr. Buckets for Sale himself, Sule Boom. He's just been the best player on this team throughout this stretch, and it's far beyond just the scoring, but defensively, he's closing in on guys and forcing missed shots. He's been a lot more vocal on defense, or maybe I'm just seeing it for the first time. But either way, though, Sule Boom, a guy who slowly but surely is climbing his way up the ranks. And if I'm not mistaken, he's from Oakland. Is this correct?
That's definitely correct.
And he passed a guy in Luster Goodwin who was drafted by the Golden State Warriors. So
Ooh.
a little bit of a fun, fun fact there. I don't know if they were Golden State at the time or if they were Philadelphia Warriors. Either way, it doesn't matter. Point is, Souley Boum is climbing his way up the ranks, but a guy who you need to step up when it matters the most. Did that for a majority of the game. Wish he would have gotten a shot off, in the final minute or so, but still 8 for 12 and 4 for 5 from 3-point range. This guy is incredible, and one of the league leaders when it comes to scoring. If I'm not mistaken, he might be the league leader in scoring. So
he is, yeah.
He is that guy for a reason. Souley Boum is player of the game.
Yeah, I'm totally with you on that. Souley Boum, the player of the game, here brought to you by Keats Southwest. From prototype to manufacturing 50 million pieces, Keats Southwest is a trusted partner worldwide for aerospace, automotive, appliance, electronics, military, medical, and many more companies throughout the world. Learn more about Keats Southwest online today at KeatsSW.com. Turning the page, looking over to Rice. This is a big one for the Miners, not just because they need a win at home, but the Miners need a win for seeding purposes. Sal, I think they split the next 2 games. I just think looking at North Texas, that's the best team in this league. It's going to be a tough one to try to pull that one off, but Rice should be a one that the Miners go into. It's going to be a tough one. You're going to have to grind that one out, but I expect the Miners to win that.
You know what? I do as well. It's not going to be easy at all, but this is the challenge that they're going to be excited to embrace. 2 tough teams to close it out, and 2 teams who really have had the better of the Miners in recent years, so it'll be a tough test for sure. I'm excited to see what Coach Golding will do with this team in a bounce-back effort, sandwiched in between, probably the toughest opponent that you could have all season to close things out in the regular season in North Texas.
If you missed any of Miner Talk, catch Miner Talk on demand wherever you get your podcasts. Check us out on Google, on iTunes, on Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts, and subscribe, download the podcast. Even if you listen to it today, it really helps us out. We would really appreciate that. And give us a review. That would be even better. We need to start giving some gifts away for people who give us reviews, but that would be awesome if you could do that as well. If you missed anything, we will be right back on Thursday, but if you missed anything, check out the podcast. Of course, we'll be back on the show on Thursday after the UTEP and Rice game. For Sal Montes, for Jason Williams, I'm Adrian Broadus. It's been a great one. UAB defeated UTEP 69-66. Appreciate all the phone calls, all the tweets, and everything here on the show, and we'll be back later this week here on Miner Talk, brought to you by the Oscar Arieta Agency, right here on 600 ESPN El Paso. Have a great night, everybody.
You've been listening to Miner Talk, presented by the Oscar Arieta Agency. Get started on a home, auto, or life insurance policy at OscarArietaAgency.com. If you missed any of Miner Talk, listen to the show on demand by downloading Miner Talk wherever you listen to podcasts.
From hometown to national. Sports spoken here. 600 ESPN El Paso is KROD El Paso, a Town Square media station.